Today's gonna be more of a maintenance item kind of day. We've got a lot of hot rods around here that have been neglected and are suffering. And today we're going to try to get some of those things accomplished and some of those things taken care of.
Bottom line, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
So probably first on the agenda is the wagon. The carburetor started leaking for no good reason. It mysteriously started leaking, so I need to fix that. New brake booster, or not booster, but master cylinder is coming for the Cougar, so I need to fix the brakes on it. And the Galaxy is going into the garage for the engine to come out of it to see how bad the damage was from London. I think that's where we was at when I turned the oil pan into a shake and bake. I believe that's right. Anyway, so all those are fairly on the agenda. Also, the F-150, I need to do some maintenance stuff to it too. It's time for a little tune-up on it, especially as much as I've been beating on it lately. So there's a lot of stuff coming. I don't know how much of it will get done today in this video, but we're going to get started on it as much as we can.
Oh no, oh no, 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 oh no, 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 I don't wanna, no, no.
I do believe the first thing I want to try to do is, well, probably go get parts. Yeah, I need to go get parts. Definitely need to go get parts. We don't have any parts to do anything with. Parts. It's been a while since we've done any work on the Dragon wagon, and might as well jump in on it first. It has developed a leak in the carburetor, and there's a couple of things while it's sitting here that I'm going to address, and I'll take you along on the ride with me here. I'm going to do the carburetor. I think I'm going to pull the front drums off and have them turned. There's a little, it just sounds a little funny inside the drums. I'm going to pull them off. I know all the brake stuff is new, but I'm going to have the drums turned. And I think we're going to put some bushings in the rear end and possibly change the rear gear. Really wake this thing up. I'm going to finish the tunnel and maybe get something that kind of resembles interior back in this thing. And maybe we'll just go cruising this weekend. Maybe we'll just go cruising this weekend in the wagon. Let's get started and let's dig in on this car. This car was kind of thrown together to make Hot Rod Power Tour this year. And there's a few things that need to be addressed. Now, I've been driving this car. I've probably put 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles on this car since then, just daily driving it. The coil, for one, is not actually mounted anywhere. It's just shoved on top of the motor. The here core is not hooked up. It's just looped there. Power steering pump is just rigged up in there. There's a bunch of stuff. My wife's favorite color was orange, so the motor was painted orange, and the paint really hasn't stuck very well to the engine. There's a bunch of stuff here that needs to be taken care of, and I'm going to address as much of that as humanly possible in the next day or so. This radiator right here is a mystery radiator. Don't know what it's for, and it's just got some zip ties up here holding it in. And I've been daily driving this car like this. I've literally put 1,000 or 1,500 miles on this car in the last few months. I have driven the freaking wheels off this car, and the car has taken it, and the car has loved it. Let's go over what this car really is. It's It's a 302 block. This this is Ford's version of the Johnny Cash Cadillac. And if you don't know what that is, I'd say look it up, but you probably just need to quit watching my videos. It's got a 302 block out of a 78 Mustang, little Mustang 2. It's got heads off of a 68 or 69 Mustang. It has a 331 stroker kit in it. It has a cam that's way too small for this combination, and it's I'd have to look see what it is. It's somewhere around like a 550 lift cam. Pentronic style ignition with a factory style distributor. A Holley 950 carburetor. Some little small headers on it. It has a T5 5-speed behind it because everything needs 3 pedals. And out back it's got a 90, like a 308 gear out back. Now, none of that works well together. Oh, and it's got a Performer 302 intake, which is probably the crappiest intake you could probably put on one. But again, thrown together to make power tour. It needs way more gear out back. Right now as it sits, you have to be running about 60 to use 4th gear, and anything under about 70, if you stick it in 5th, it just lugs. So it's a great highway cruiser, but it sucks around town. So we're going to try to flip the script on that a little bit. Ironically though, it gets like 20 miles to the gallon, even with the wrong carburetor, wrong intake, and all that stuff. It really does just cruise great mileage. So we got a lot to do, and we're going to start under here with this carburetor and this massive fuel leak that it just developed over the last couple of days. So this is a Holley 3-barrel. I don't know how many people are familiar with the old 3 barrels. To my knowledge, they only made them for 2 years, and they only made them in 2 different sizes that I know of. This is the 950, but it runs fine on here. I've jetted it way down so that it's happy, and it runs really well on here without any issues. So we just got to get this massive fuel leak straightened out. All right, I got the carburetor off. It's over here behind me. And I've got to clean up some of this mess. It's not normally how things are thrown together, and it's bugging me. But it was a rush job. It's something I was trying to do to hurry up and get somewhere. So we'll get the coil off the top of the motor and moved, power steering stuff cleaned up, all these wires cleaned up, and try to really clean this engine bay up and make it look fairly nice and presentable, so that raise the hood somewhere at least looks like a decent engine under here. Got my little workbench set up, and got me a couple of these little pig mats put down here, so I'm gonna start taking this thing apart. So to my knowledge, it's never been apart other than I changed the jets in it. I rejetted it, but if you've never seen a 3-barrel, there you go. Instead of 4 round holes, it's got 2 round holes and an oval hole. That's some good 60s technology right there. And technically still works just fine. Alright, let's try to get these bowls off now. You'll have to excuse the shakiness. My phone is sitting on the same table I'm working on, which happens to be sitting on the same floor, which happens to be the floor that some guy poured himself and there may be some spots that are not quite level. Well, he's about to make a boo-boo. Y'all see what I was about to do? I got to, before I get these off, I got to take his fuel line off. Almost made a boo-boo right there. Right there. I almost made a boo-boo right there. But I can do it after I take this one screw out. So we got to take this fuel line right here loose, take it out of the way. Because it's leaking from this bowl, so whatever's going on, which I believe will be the pump right here. And I believe that little, I believe right there is the leak. We'll know in a minute. Now, we take the fuel line off first, then we can take the bowl off. I mean, it's just bolted there, so technically you can take it off anytime you want to, but it certainly will make your life more difficult. Hey, where y'all going? Hey, where you going? Don't run off on me. Ain't that boring. Hopefully it's not a cracked bowl. I think it's just the accelerator pump there. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. So I'm going to set the carburetor body out of the way. Got the iron block here. Pretty much tell you exactly where it was leaking at. Right here. Actually coming through the pump is, so, and you can tell this one most likely has not been apart because it still has the old weird holly heads in there instead of a screw. Now those are not terribly difficult to get out, but good indicator this thing has never been apart. But the bright side is, and she's clean inside. That's what happens when you run race fuel. This is our huckleberry right here. That sets in there. Goes up in the bottom there. It's the pump. It's a diaphragm. And you can see it is pretty deteriorated. Modern gas problems, right? So that's definitely our problem. That's definitely where our leak is coming from. So we're gonna put a new diaphragm in it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the bowl out, even though it's pretty clean, and go ahead and change the gaskets on the metering block here as well, and give that a quick clean up. Carburetor itself looks really clean. So this right here is definitely our leaker. It is pretty bad deteriorated. Well, once again, I'm foiled by my parts being a little depleted over the last few days because we've been going very hard and not taking a break to go get stuff. So let me just go over with you the plan. Just rebuild this carburetor. I'm just gonna get a kit, go through the whole carburetor, make a couple little tweaks to it. I'm gonna clean this engine up, clean the wiring up. I will probably get some paint and touch up the engine bay in here a little. Maybe get a little paint on the engine bay and clean this up under here. I'm definitely going to have to make a better mount for the radiator. This is something we want to be able to get in and drive across country at a moment's notice. So that's one reason I have been driving the freaking tires off of it the way it is. If it survives the way it is, once everything's cleaned up, it'll be good then. I need to finish up the interior stuff because right now there's some seats set on a metal floor. There's no carpet, no sound deadener. Matter of fact, there's no transmission tunnel because I had to cut the transmission tunnel out to clear the massive 5-speed that I put in it. So when you're driving down the road, you're just looking at the transmission. So the Wagon's getting some love. Over the next couple of days, the Wagon is definitely getting some love. Also, when I built this motor and broke it in, I zip tied the gauges to the cowl out here, and they're still riding out here on the cowl. So Need to transplant those to the inside. So it's gonna get some love. It's gonna get some love. This is a shorter video that I expected to be longer, but I could just add tomorrow's to it and make it a long video. But I like the short videos, and everything else that I had planned today kind of fell into that parts issue kind of thing. So tomorrow I'm gonna try to finish up with some work on the wagon, get the wagon back up and running. I gotta go to the store and get a few parts that I'm missing. The Galaxy, our Galaxy Legacy that we, our super stock car that we race with Southeast Gassers, it well, I've got everything put the motor together with except gaskets, and nobody locally has gaskets in stock. So it's not looking like I'm going to be able to make the race Saturday due to parts supply issue. I can get the gaskets, I just have to order them online. I didn't order them online because I usually pick them up locally. Can't pick them up locally, so now if I order them online, I waited so long that they wouldn't be here in time. So tomorrow we're going to try to finish up with this as much as we can, get it back up and driving and running again. May do a few little upgrades to it as I go. Friday we're going to put a new master cylinder on the Cougar, and maybe some exhaust under the Cougar, and may just spend the weekend just cruising in the wagon and the Cougar. Not a bad way to spend a weekend. I'll take y'all along with me. Just stay tuned, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Probably you'll see this done once I get the parts for the Galaxy. I'll do a full video on pulling the motor out of it and us exploring to see what failed and what went wrong, as we diagnose what parts we can reuse and what parts we can't. So that'll be a pretty interesting video. So y'all stay tuned. I will, man, God bless y'all. I'll see y'all later.